What's going on, everybody? Mark here with CCO Science of Fishing. We got the Gale Force twins with us today. We have some really cool stuff we're going to talk to you guys about, and it's going to be a great episode, so stay tuned.
You've landed on CCO's The Science of Fishing, where passion meets precision. Hold on tight as we dive in. But before we do, we would like to thank Sea Mule and Black Reef Co. for sponsoring this episode.
So, guys, thank you for coming. Emily, Amanda, thanks for coming today.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Absolutely. So, you guys really have grown over the years, and it's been quite incredible to watch. From our days over at UM, and now you guys are here. We're in the studio throwing up the
all
you
about
guys.
the you.
Exactly. So, what have you guys been up to lately? What's been going on?
Been very busy. We spent most of our summer filming. We actually almost took a break from traveling this summer with the intention of getting back to our roots and creating content. We definitely can easily get to a place where, opportunities come in and you start saying yes to everything. And we both were like, you know what? We need to have a period of getting back to our roots and sticking to what brought us to where we are today.
Right.
So
So we spent the
yeah.
entire month of July in the Keys
Okay.
filming, which is where we really started our YouTube channel in 2020. We started full-time living in the Keys during COVID, filming for our YouTube channel. And then as we grew, things just started getting adding on. And then we said, all right, let's spend a month in the Keys and do that again. So it was a great summer. And we've just been really busy filming and fishing and working on our brand.
That's awesome. Where in the Keys were you guys at?
Big Pine.
Okay.
So mile
Yeah.
marker 30.
There you go.
All the way down in the middle of nowhere.
Well, it's good fishing,
It's
though.
great there.
Yeah.
You guys have a house there or something, or? Okay.
Yeah, our family has a house down there. So
Very cool.
we go down as often as we can and
Okay.
take advantage of it for sure.
Yeah. Do you guys bring down the Invincible with you, or you guys have another boat down there?
We either bring down the Invincible, we have our Hughes, our 18-foot Hughes we'll trailer down.
Yep.
But usually we like to run the big boat down. It's really not that bad of a run,
Really?
especially if the weather's nice.
Well, for this trip though, I think who ran the boat down?
we usually
I
take
think
turns. One of us will drive the truck.
I think
the
I
other
ran
will-
the Invincible down, and then you drove the truck with, was it two cats and a trailer?
We
with
have
the
pets
boat.
that come
the
with
pets
us.
come with. So we take turns running the big boat down and trailering the Hughes and
Yeah.
traveling with the cats and the dog.
Yeah. Where does Kona go?
It depends.
Yeah, she can do both. She either goes in the boat or the truck.
She doesn't mind it, right?
No, she loves it.
She loves
Yeah.
it. If
She
I
hates
take
getting
a,
left behind.
if I take a buff out, she knows, because we put a buff on her
Yeah.
before we go on the
It's
boat.
boat time?
Yeah, she's like, oh my gosh, we're going on the boat.
That's so cool. That's awesome, dude. Boat dogs are the best dogs.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have a little puppy. It's great. So, so talking about getting back to your roots, kind of where did you guys start getting into fishing, and how did you guys get into the whole scene, and what sparked the interest?
That's a great question because a lot of people always assume that our parents taught us how to fish, and the funny part is we teach them how to fish these days. But growing up as a family, we always rented a house in the Keys, and we would do the little sandbar snorkel dive thing, but never fishing. And the two of us we'd always just saw other kids fishing on the dock, and we said, I really want to do that. So our first official fishing charter was for our 13th birthday, and we went yellowtail snapper fishing, and something very specific we had was we wanted the captain to teach us how to fish. We didn't want to just, we didn't want any hook and hand style fishing because we had understood the concept of, well, when you pay for someone to take you fishing, they do everything for you, and you don't really learn anything. So then you go home and you're like, well, I can't do it by myself now. So we were very specific on wanting to learn. Our parents found a captain that was willing to do that for us. So it kind of was just like a once a year, once a summer thing until we got to college. And then once we were in college, we were running track, we were getting pre-med degrees, life was very intense. And so our last summer before graduating, we said we wanted to change things up and work on a fishing boat.
Okay.
It was supposed to be just for a summer.
Just a fun summer job, which
Yeah.
quite literally turned into a career.
Key
And-
West, right?
Yep.
Yes.
So you guys would go all the way from Coral Gables to Key West.
So we would spend our last semester, we had class Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
So we would drive down Thursday after class, spend Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday fishing.
We would drive down to Big Pine to our parents' house there,
Yeah.
and then we
we
would
would
drive from
commute
Big
from
Pine
Big
to Key
Pine.
West, which is still like an hour every day.
We
Like
would get up
4
at
a.m.
4. Be at the
Jeez.
boat at, before 6,
Yeah.
and then fish, and then we would go back up for class that Tuesday.
Wow. Would you drive up that Monday night or Tuesday morning?
Usually
Monday
Monday
night,
night,
yeah.
and then just
Okay.
be ready for school on Tuesday.
All right. Were you guys on the same charters as two mates on the charters, or was
We
it?
would the company had 2 boats, and we would. It was a little bit of everything. We'd switch on and off. Sometimes she'd go on one charter boat, I'd go on the other.
Sometimes if the boat had a morning and an afternoon, I'd take the morning, she'd take the afternoon. Occasionally we would both go together, but usually we would not go together.
Yeah. How would you guys split that up? Who wakes up early? Who sleeps in?
I think it just would depend. Yeah, a lot of people ask us like the whole twin thing. How do you determine who's going to drive the boat, who's going to do X, Y, Z?
Yeah.
And we've never had a system or routine. It's always
works.
just supernatural, and
It's just we have twin telepathy, so
out.
we.
It makes sense. Yeah. I like it. So, any memorable times from being down there, starting to get into the industry and working on those boats? Like, any cool stories from either of you guys?
I don't think I have one specific cool story, but I do feel like so at that time we were college athletes and we were pole vaulters, and I was very, very passionate about pole vaulting, and I was actually really sad about it coming to an end. Yeah. And I remember thinking to myself, I'm never going to find something I'm as passionate about. And then that summer I started sport fishing, and I remember being like 20 miles offshore, slick, calm day, like at Lake Atlantic out there, and just thinking, wow, I could be passionate about this. And it was really awesome to find something else in life that kind of filled that void. And I think that's why when we graduated, at least for me personally, it was really easy to stick to it.
I would agree. I would say it was the same thing for me. I think it was just that moment of being offshore in the tower. You're alone in the tower most of the time. On this specific charter boat we ran on, we actually ran the boat as captains, more so than we did as mates. So we were in the tower a lot by ourselves, as in like I would run a trip totally by myself with a mate, and like she would do the same, and I would be by myself in the tower, and it was just this moment of, this is really cool. There is a whole industry. I can have a whole career doing this, and I had no idea that was even a thing because we had kept our heads down doing pre-med, and after graduating college, we said, well, let's take a year and live in the Keys and just work for a year. Yeah. And I wouldn't say our intentions were not to go to med school at that point, but our intentions were to just kind of think about what we wanted to do next, not knowing that what next was going to be fishing.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, do you guys catch any flack for being females in the industry? I mean,
I would say it's like 90% positive, because we do get this question.
Yeah. I would say that, of course, there's, like in any industry, in any space, there's going to be haters, and we definitely get it for sure. Yeah. We get the comments, the Instagram DMs. But for the most part, what I love is that when we get a negative comment, our other followers will reply to that comment and defend us.
And then the thread just goes.
And like, you go.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you guys know more than most guys that go fishing. The weekend warriors don't have as much knowledge as you girls, so it's like, you guys got them beat anyway, so there's nothing to worry about. But that's good. So you guys have a loyal following that's got your back. So
I would definitely say so.
Yeah, that's awesome. So going back, you were talking about your roots. You were talking about getting back down to Big Pine. Let's go a little bit before that. This isn't your first venture together, right?
Correct.
You guys were the twin bakers at one point, right?
That is correct. Our first business together was in high school. We were the twin bakers. And together we baked cupcakes, cookies, baked for birthdays.
Homecomings.
For homecoming, we baked like 400 cupcakes in exchange for service hours because we needed those to graduate high school. But then other than that, like, we would bake for birthday parties, and it was a full business. We even considered culinary school at one point.
Wow.
Yeah, it's just something we really love to do, and we still love to do it. And that was our first business together, and it was fun.
Do you think that like kind of made you guys closer in order to get to where you are today? Like, just constantly doing businesses together and then eventually just now fishing together.
Yeah, I almost feel like the whole business together thing, it just kept happening. So first it was twin bakers, and then obviously went to college.
And actually what's funny is, a lot of people don't know this, but in college was the first time that we shared a room and bathroom together.
Really?
Yeah.
You guys never shared that as like little kids?
We were the only two kids growing up, so thankfully we were able to have our own rooms. And we did have a Jack and Jill bathroom, but
our parents did a really good job. Growing up as twins, people love to, mush you together. Yeah. And our parents did a good job at making sure we were still treated like individuals. So we weren't in the same classes. If we wanted the same article of clothing, they would buy the same thing twice. So that way we were really, truly independent of each other. Yeah. And then the first time we roomed together, it was a choice that we chose to do. And it was for college. We were roommates. And then we had classes together. We didn't take classes together until college, literally.
Yeah, like first day of college was, all right, we're about to go through a whole, because since we ran track, you have this small window of time to do your classes. So, I mean, it was like first day of college from 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. We were together all day.
That was an adjustment.
You guys go back to the dorms, and where were you guys? Rossboro, Stanford, or?
Well, we actually started college in Louisiana.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we were at the University of Louisiana, where we got track scholarships there.
Yeah.
And then after 2 years, we said, I miss home. I miss Florida. I want to go to the best school that's close to home.
Okay.
So we picked Miami. And then once we were in Miami, though, we were juniors at that point, so we got an off-campus apartment.
Nice.
Yeah.
Easy enough.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, you guys continued track though at UM, right?
Yes.
You guys
Yes.
continued doing
Yes.
pole vaulting there.
Yes.
That didn't stop in Louisiana, right?
No.
No, and
Okay.
it was a great choice. I mean, at UM, the track program was incredible, and the women's team won indoor ACCs. 2 years they were there, and then they continued.
2 years that we were there.
The 2 years that we were there, and then
And
they
then-
continued the third year after that. So they did that 3 years in a row.
I'm pretty sure they went on for 4.
They might have gone on for
They
4. I should know
four-peated.
that, but
Wow.
I should know if they did. But they were.
That's pretty
We came in
gnarly.
at the
That's
right
awesome.
Yeah,
time.
it was
an
awesome
awesome
to be a part of
experience.
it.
Yeah. How like what was your heights pole vaulting? What was
My
your PR?
PR was 4 meters, which is essentially like 13 feet, a little
Okay.
over 13 feet.
Wow. And you?
Mine was 396. So
Okay. So you guys
very close. However, if we want to get specific, I have a higher indoor PR, and you have a higher.
Right. So
I
there's
actually
2
There you go.
seasons.
I
in
didn't
track.
finish the last season because I had a bone bruise in my back.
Ow.
Yeah. So I said, at that point I had found fishing, and I said I was happy. So
Yeah. So you guys talked about kind of filling the void of pole vaulting with fishing. Give us a little bit of insight into that. What drives you when you were pole vaulting and then now fishing? Is it like the chase of the next bigger fish or the next PR pole vaulting, or like how do you correlate the two?
I think we both have really, really type A personalities that if we're going to do something, we're going to do it right and we're going to do it at 110%.
Okay.
So it was just as we were leaving one phase or chapter of our lives and stepping into another, whether it was going to be for fishing or a different type, maybe an office job or whatever career that it could have been, it was going to be at 110%.
Well, I would say, though, I think for me, a big part of what we liked about fishing was how active it was. I mean, it was very physically active. I don't know if an office job is for me, kind of thing. I mean,
Yeah.
I know I can do it because we do have days. I mean,
We have sometimes
the
weeks
majority
where,
of our
you know,
days we spend at a computer editing videos.
Yeah.
But having that physically get up, get out, move around, I mean, I just think it was the active part that was huge for us. And I would say that once the cameras and the filming came alongside that, it was just the perfect match because technology and cameras has always been something we've enjoyed, but
Yeah.
it was never this huge part of our lives, and now it is.
I would also say we kind of liked the fact that it was almost a little intimidating and people
What do
would
you mean by that?
like being, I mean, we were 21. We didn't look 21. We're 28 now. We don't look 28, So we were 21, probably looked 18 walking
Yeah.
down a dock of
A charter boat dock at 4 a.m.
with, very, very highly skilled 50-year-old men who have been doing this for their whole lives.
Right.
And we walk down and they're probably looking
Probably
at
in
us
our
like,
like boots that look a little too clean.
like, who are these girls? And it was definitely
Yeah.
intimidating, but I think we kind of liked that aspect of having to prove ourselves.
I like that it was an area of my life that I didn't know a lot about, and we were able to come in and really master it.
Yeah. Well, that makes sense. I mean, it's difficult to get into fishing. It's difficult, to learn how to tie a bimini twist and like all that. It's like you got to learn a lot. And I guess you guys put in the time and now you've got it down pat. But so you guys were kind of talking about the dynamic on the water. You guys, it just flows, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you guys are two different individuals. Is one more of, on the rod and reel and the other one's captaining? Is there usually like it flows into that? You guys just switch off and kind of
I
let
think
it go?
that's actually when we first started fishing together, especially when we were running charters, in the morning we would decide who was going to take the captain role and who would take the mate role.
Yeah.
Because we did learn, especially during charters, you really need to have a clear line of communication, and you don't want to be confused with clients on the boat. Yeah. So on charters specifically, it was, okay, today I'm the captain, I'm the mate. And then once we started doing full-time social media and teaching people online, it did get more fluid, and what it actually ended up coming down to was sometimes we would go to film an episode, let's say it's just how to catch a yellowtail snapper, and like I would have a clear vision on how I wanted it to come across.
Yeah.
I would end up being the one that goes in front of the camera because I'd be like, well, I know what I want to say and I know how I want it to sound. And then she'd get behind the camera. And vice versa. There'd be times where I'd be tripping over my words and she'd be like, I got this. Trade. I'll get in front of the camera. So it kind of came down to who had the vision and
Yeah.
who really knew what direction they wanted the episode to go. And normally that twin would go in front of the camera, which usually meant that twin was on the rod and reel fishing and the other twin was at the wheel.
What about kind of behind the scenes? Is there someone that's like more the editor and someone that's more structure organized?
Definitely.
Someone's creative, and not that you're not both creative, but like
I take all the creative jobs.
Okay.
So any marketing materials, any postcards we need or flyers for boat shows. I do. She can edit too, but I pretty much do all the editing.
Well, in the beginning, we did the editing 50-50. Yes. So I can 100% edit, but when it comes to Photoshop and making postcards and flyers, I can do the bare minimum.
Right. And then she's the
I do our QuickBooks, our accounting. I do a lot of our scheduling, our emails.
Okay.
Which is a lot too. I mean, we
Yeah.
spend a lot of time doing that. So just this week, we actually were hosting a women's fishing trip. A women's fishing tournament in Guatemala. You saw that.
I did.
So she was making a flyer and she was like sending me pictures of it, and I was like, Emily, you can do so much better than this. I'm sorry. And then she's like, I'm sorry. I'm a morning person. I need to do it tomorrow morning. So it was in the evening, and she's like, this is creative work. So she handled it. She made it, but I gave my input for sure.
Well, it looked great. I saw the post. It looked awesome.
Yeah.
So kudos to you. Thank you. But so can you tell us a little bit about this tournament? Why Guatemala? Where did you guys come up with this idea? What's the connection with Guatemala?
We went to Guatemala for our first time 3 years ago now, and we went with Pacific Fins Resort. Amazing resort, incredible fishing, and it was so successful that the following 2 years, so last year and then this year, we're actually coming up on it, where we hosted 2 women's fishing trips, and then the thought process kind of grew from there of instead of hosting essentially regular women's fishing trips, let's take it up a notch and host a tournament.
Okay.
But specifically for this tournament, you don't have to come in as a team, and this isn't the kind of tournament that you need to have a high level of experience. If you have it, absolutely, we'd love to have you, but we also want women that maybe are a little new to fishing but want to kind of get into the competition side of things to be able to come as well. So if you come as an individual, we'll place you on a team. If you come with 4 ladies, you're a team already.
Right.
So it's kind of a good variety, and I think we just really wanted to take to the next level, and we're competitive, so it was kind of a natural avenue for us.
But it's a lot more low pressure than like going and fishing the White Marlin Open.
Exactly. Yes. Yeah. Yes. This is going to be a for fun tournament to get women
Yeah.
together that like to fish, want to compete, want to have
That's
a good
awesome.
time, want to learn.
Yeah.
Right.
All the above.
That's pretty great. So you guys went there for a couple of years. Have you guys fished anywhere else in South America or Latin America or down there? Or?
We've done Costa Rica.
Okay.
Yes.
I think those are the only 2 places down there we've done.
Yeah.
Costa Rica.
Costa
What were you
Rica.
guys targeting down there?
We've done.
Sailfish.
We've also done roosterfish.
Oh, we've done Costa Rica twice.
Yes.
Oh.
And
Well, yeah, you're
2
right.
locations, more than
Okay.
2
twice.
locations.
but-
We've done like roosterfish,
Yellowfin.
yellowfin tuna. We've done
Sailfish.
sailfish.
Yeah. Those Pacific sails are bigger than what
They
we
are.
got over here.
They are.
I went down there in Panama, and that was a dream. That was really cool.
Yeah.
But
I feel like
Okay.
they're big, but they're lazier than the Atlantic sailfish.
I think they're stupider.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll bite anything.
Yeah, it's not
You're
fair.
smart.
The
You'll be-
Atlantic sails and they're spookier.
Yeah.
You gotta
They-
you have to bait's
I
perfect.
think they jump a lot more,
Yep.
so you have to be, in some ways, a better angler to know how to handle that. And the Pacific sails are just like lazy,
You're chilling.
larger, like, oh, that looks tasty. I'm gonna eat that. Yeah.
That's awesome. So tuna fishing is one of my favorite things, and you guys said you went yellowfin fishing. Was that in Guatemala or
That was
Costa Rica?
That was in Costa Rica.
Okay. What was the biggest?
It was not very large.
They were just slightly bigger than
They
footballs.
were basically, the yellowfins were essentially a very large blackfin that we would catch here.
Okay.
But
nothing
still
big. We
very
still haven't caught
delicious.
well, it's hard because we did catch a 90-pound yellowfin in Ocean City. However, we didn't boat it, but we did touch the leader, which makes it a
Okay.
catch. But because
Yeah.
it's a
But
meat
it's a meat
fish,
fish.
does it really count as a catch?
I get what you're saying. You wanted to stick
So-
a gaff in it.
I don't really feel like I can count that one. It did get to the boat. We did see it.
It's a big yellowfin,
Did
though.
get the leader. Yeah, that was really
Did it
hard.
have the big sickles?
Yeah.
I didn't
big-
even see it. She was on.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It just came to the boat, touched the leader, and then it
And that was it.
was gone.
Well,
Sad day.
Still a catch.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
But it doesn't feel like it, so.
That's okay. We'll get you on some yellowfin eventually.
Yeah.
In front of me, I have the Flushmaster by Seamule. This little device simplifies the process for flushing your engines. All it takes is 3 easy steps. Plug the hose into the device, plug the hoses from the device into your motors, and press on. That's all it takes to preserve the longevity of your motors, ensuring 100% clean water is running through them. So if you want to preserve your motors, go to seamule.com and go pick up a Flushmaster. What's your favorite fish to catch?
I really like permit fishing
Okay.
in the Keys when they're on the wrecks, though.
Okay.
So yeah, when
You
they're
gotta haul ass out there to get them.
yeah, it's a really small window, and it's always around April, and our birthday's in April. So I feel like I also kind of associate with the amount of permit I've caught on my birthday is pretty. It's always like a
I don't
fun
think we've
time.
ever not caught a permit on our birthday.
Or like at least around our birthday. So I don't know. I think it's fun. I think I like the fact that they're good fighters. They're larger when you get them out on the wrecks as opposed to the flats.
Yeah.
And it's just because it's such a small window, it feels really rewarding when you actually succeed in it. Because if you fail, you have to literally wait a whole year to
that
try
sucks.
again. I know.
Can you tell us a little bit, this is the science of fishing. What's the science between that little window? Why are they there for that little
Yeah.
amount of
So
time?
they migrate out there to reproduce.
Okay.
And when they're reproducing, they are hungry, naturally.
Right.
So I've seen them schooling. We've caught them on poppers, which is
Really?
kind of unique to do out there. We did that actually in Isla Mirada with Captain Nick Stanzik.
Okay.
And he was out there just like casting poppers and just these giant permit just chasing after a
Really?
popper. And I was like, wow, because I personally have never done one on a popper. We always catch them on crabs, on the little baby blue
It's
crabs.
just a small window where they come out to spawn on the wrecks in 100 feet of water. And any deeper and it's too deep, any shallower and it's like too shallow. Like you want to have that like 100-foot wreck.
Yeah.
A lot of the guys catch them on I think it's the Dock DeMille down here in Miami.
Okay.
But we do it down in the Keys.
How far is that run?
For down
Go
the
to
Keys.
those wrecks. I've never fished for the permit out there.
Oh,
down the Keys.
It's like 5 miles offshore.
Okay,
It's
so
5
it's not
miles
bad.
offshore,
Yeah.
but typically we'll end up running down the coast, potentially. Look, we fish a wreck that's closer to Key West. So it's probably 10, 15-mile run, but
Right.
straight
Yeah.
offshore it would be 5 miles.
And yeah, as soon as you hear them come, they're there for like 2 weeks and then they're gone.
Yeah, that's it. So you
Yeah.
got to time it right. You got to hear
Yeah.
about the bite and then just get
Gotta
out there.
go.
Pay
That's
attention on
cool.
social media. That's
Yeah,
what we
yeah.
do. It's like, oh, someone caught one. Go.
Let's
Right?
go. Yeah.
The key is to follow the charter boats. Follow the local charter boats because they're the ones that are out there every day. I know it looks like
Yeah.
we're out there every day, but at the end of the day, we are still a business, and we're
Probably
doing a lot
we
of
probably average twice a week on the water.
right.
That's not
Unlike
bad.
those charter companies, they're out 360 out of 365 days of the year. So if they're catching permit, they're running. So usually we follow the local charter boats and then go out.
Makes sense. Well, what's your favorite fish to catch?
I still really like sailfish.
Yeah?
I feel like
On the kite or trolling
either.
form?
Probably the
Okay.
kite though.
Yeah.
I just think because it's so technical is why I like it.
Yeah.
And I feel like so many people say sailfish is their favorite. And I've tried to get away from that and be like, well, it's not my favorite. I got to pick a different one because everybody likes this one. But I just like how technical it is to fish for them. And I just like how light the tackle is. And
Yeah.
it's like for the tackle and the size of the fish, it's a huge difference. So I've always just really enjoyed sailfish. And it's kind of in the spring too. It's right around our birthday, April. So March, April, depends. Every year's different. But they are around a lot longer than the permit.
Yeah, they are. For sure. They for sure are. So you guys being from, the Palm Beach area, there's a little bit, I feel like, of animosity between Palm Beach and Miami. The kite guys versus the trolling guys.
Yeah.
And so what do you guys prefer to do when you're targeting fish?
We do a lot of planer fishing.
Okay.
I love planer fishing specifically because it's a great way to catch wahoo.
Yeah.
I think if I had to also say I have another favorite.
Oh, actually,
Wahoo's probably
you know
pretty
what?
close.
I might need to change it. But
Yeah. To what?
Wahoo.
To wahoo?
Wahoo are-
Both of you guys?
Well, I'm not actually going to change it, but it's my plan B. I
Second
don't know.
favorite. There you go.
Second favorite. The planer fishing was actually also a little bit of how we started to really grow on social media. One of our early episodes that did really well was how to planer fish with basically removable planers. So
Bridle.
the bridle, yes. So you don't have to leader 100 foot of line.
Yeah.
Like they
Or
used to
or
do.
have it. Some people have the planers, like the bridle attached to the boat. They do all sorts of very
weird
complicated things, and I mean it works clearly. That's how we were taught by other captains that do it in all sorts of different ways, and then we decided to do it basically the bridle on the reel, so you can remove the planer and reel the bridle through the rod.
Yeah.
And that content did really well. And I went back and watched the video, and I almost cringed because I was like, wow, my camera presence was not that good, even though the video did so well.
The education
Yeah.
was there, and it was a great episode as far as the information. But you're right. When I go back and watch it, the camera presence. I mean,
So we actually just redid it.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, it went out, I think, a month ago.
Okay.
So
I'm
we
gonna
have
to
our
catch that one.
updated, it's all the same information, all the same knowledge, just with a much better camera presence.
I think I saw that first one because I I didn't know much about the bridle. I usually had it
Yeah.
where you have to hand line that thing in,
Yeah.
and it turns into a little bit of a pain in the butt.
Yeah,
So,
and it can be sketchy too if
Oh,
the
yeah.
fish runs and you have potentially 100 foot of line either
Around your
wrapped around
leg or-
right your hands in the boat on the deck near the motor.
Yeah.
It can get
yeah, if you get that thing caught in the motor, it's you lose the fish or you lose your hand. It's like it's not good.
yeah.
Yeah. But wahoo fishing. Okay, so let's talk about that a little bit. You guys like to planer fish for 'em versus high speed, right?
So
Or do you guys
we
ever
go
high speed?
we don't technically high speed, but we go as high speed as we can with planers without them
Okay.
tripping.
So
Yeah.
what's the optimal?
That's usually around
8 to 10
8 to 10
knots.
knots, depending on the current and the conditions. You know, up on the east coast of Florida, when you're traveling with the current, it's easily 10.
Yeah.
But, you know, you turn around and it's 6.
Right.
So we go basically as fast as our planers can handle
Yeah.
and our reels. And it's our version of high speed. And it's very productive. You know,
Yeah.
we don't need all this fancy high speed equipment because we already have the planer equipment.
Right.
And we can do it and catch wahoo at the same time. And the nice thing about it is you can catch bycatch too. You know, I mean, not yesterday, last week we caught a 48-inch kingfish,
Nice.
high speed planer fishing.
Yeah.
We smoked it and made fish dip and vacuum sealed it all.
There you go. That's awesome. So are you guys using Bonita Strips at the end, or are
Yeah.
you using? Okay.
So we do Bonita strips with we match all the colors. So we'll pick like a color scheme.
Yeah.
So let's say we pick for wahoo we like dark colors, so maybe purple and black.
Okay.
So then it'll have a little mylar. That'll probably be like just a shiny silver, and then it'll have a squid, and we'll pick a purple squid, and then it'll have a sea witch, and it'll be a purple and black sea witch.
So it's all
So it's
matching.
all matching.
Yeah.
And then we'll usually do one, so like the long might be purple and black, and then the short we'll pick a different color. And again, if it's specifically wahoo,
Usually
we'll
the
do
other color
dark.
will be like blue and black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Blue and black's always really good for us for wahoo.
So dark colors
Definitely.
produces.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We actually did an episode though on does color matter specifically for planer fishing, and we did learn on this specific day that we went out was that our pink and white had so much action. It was insane.
More bites,
More bites, but
not necessarily
not
better
necessarily
quality.
better quality. Like just like
So like just bonitas.
Cudas.
And stuff,
bonitas,
or-
cudas. But like as a charter boat, it was great information to have. You know, like oh wow, nothing's
And
biting.
then the other, it was competing against a purple, I think a darker color, and
Now
it
we
caught the
caught,
blackfin
like, the blackfin tuna
So it caught the
and-
quality as
Yeah.
opposed
but
to
we
the
definitely didn't have
quantity.
the quantity on it. So, you know, when you put, for us, we've,
interesting.
in our opinion and from our research that we've done, we've learned that with the darker colors, specifically when planer fishing, we tend to have much better quality of catch with like the blue and blacks, the purple and blacks.
Yeah.
And then with the pink and whites and those bright colors, you tend to catch more kudas and kingfish and bonitas. But
Okay.
it's actually, yeah, it's a little experiment we did, and it's
Yeah.
kind of held true to this day.
Yeah. I mean, I think we'd have to repeat it.
Yeah.
I would love to
Other
repeat
days.
it.
Do a couple
but-
more tests.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to your pre-med days.
Yeah.
Back to the lab. Well, you guys like, what depth do you guys like to be at? Like, is it at 120 range, or are you guys out
Specifically for
farther?
wahoo, I like to say 200.
Yeah.
I don't know what
Okay.
you were going to say, but
Yeah, I would say wahoo, no shallower than 120.
Yeah.
And then you can definitely push out
To
for wahoo
400.
to
You guys zigzagging?
yeah,
Okay.
we'll zigzag or not yes, we'll zigzag, but we'll also sometimes just bounce to wrecks.
Yeah.
So, okay, this wreck is over here, we'll head to that wreck. Then once we go over that wreck, if we don't get a bite, maybe we'll make a second pass and then head to another one.
Okay, so it's just like
so between 100
Yeah.
and 400, any wrecks that are in that zone are the wrecks that will normally kind of just like bounce between.
so you guys are targeting those wrecks then. You're not
Definitely.
just blind trolling. You're making sure
No.
that you're going over structure.
We definitely make sure
Yeah.
we're on structure, and for us that usually, because I know some of the charter boats, they'll zigzag for wahoo just like off the coast like this.
Yeah, back up and down.
And it's very effective, but we just find that turning that often with planers is difficult. I mean, it's possible.
say the
we-
least.
It's
And
just,
if there's a big gap between one wreck and another, we'll zigzag between it.
but normally we just kind of like to like, okay, these are where our wrecks are today. We're going to go from here to there, and that wreck's out there, and this wreck's here. So we kind of do like
Yeah.
a slight zigzag.
Do you think you guys target those wrecks in general, and then is that where most of your catches? Probably.
I was going to say definitely, yeah.
Yeah. You guys have any other bycatch around those other than like?
Yeah, I mean, when you do,
Yeah.
especially the shallower wrecks, you kind of can end up with kingfish more, but
Yeah.
as long as you're going fast enough, you can usually avoid those kings, and you definitely avoid the kudas.
Right.
The rule of thumb is if you're catching barracudas, you're going too slow.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a good little piece
and then
of
when you start to go
information.
faster, and you will still catch kings at that wahoo speed, but they'll typically be of much larger size.
Right. Guys, we're going to take a second to thank today's sponsor, Whatnot. Whatnot is an app that allows you to buy fishing products through live stream video. Fishing tackle, fishing lures, fishing reels, whatever fishing related, you can get on the app, jump on a live stream, and bid on products and be able to win them at a fraction of the cost. Think of it like Facebook Marketplace, where you can get fishing tackle of all kinds for a quarter or half the price. I'll be hosting a live stream on December 9th, giving away over $500 worth of fishing gear, whether it's fishing rods, fishing reels, and fishing tackle for you guys to get all for free. Here's how you can join in on the stream. All you have to do is click the link in the description, which will give you $15 in free credit, create an account, download the app, and bookmark my stream to be able to get in on all the fun on December 9th. Check it out, guys, in tight lines. So have you guys, I know you guys have fished in the Bahamas before. Have you guys done Wahoo trips out there?
We have yes and no.
Okay.
We've never done a dedicated Wahoo trip.
Yeah.
And our last Bahamas trip was in like May, right? Mm-hmm. And we did spend a day planer fishing, high-speed planer fishing for Wahoo. And it was one of those days where we were literally catching barracudas at 10 knots in 3,000 feet of water.
What?
Literally,
Bahamas is full of
it
barracudas.
was one of those.
Yeah,
and
never
we
have, but
uploaded some videos to social media about that day, and people were commenting, well, you're not deep enough. You're not deep enough. I was like, you don't understand. I was in 3,000 feet of water.
what are they doing out there? They're reef fish.
I know.
Like, wow. So what did you guys go target that trip?
Well, we were targeting. Well, that trip was a little bit
It was
of
a dive
everything.
trip, really.
Yeah,
Okay.
we obviously tried to target the Wahoo, did not succeed, and then we spearfished for lionfish. We went
Conking.
conch
diving.
diving,
I don't know.
Nice.
Whatever the correct term is.
We went bone fishing.
Oh, that's
That was
cool.
kind of like a well-rounded trip.
Yeah. You guys got to dabble in a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Do you guys do a lot of inshore fishing? You just said the bone fishing. but-
No,
Okay.
inshore fishing is something that we enjoy, but it's definitely not our bread and butter.
Right.
If we go inshore fishing, we have a couple of our snook spots. We have a couple spots here and there, but it's not something that
Not something you guys don't really dabble in it much.
it takes time inshore fishing to get the spots to. It's really, really technical, and we
Yeah.
spent years learning how to reef rack offshore fish.
Right.
And what I think is really interesting about fishing is that you can be really professional in one area of fishing and then know nothing about another
Oh, absolutely.
area of fishing.
For sure.
And inshore fishing is kind of like that avenue for us where, we can hold our own, we can go out there and
Yeah.
catch fish, but it's not like some of the other guys can do it.
Okay. I gotcha. Well, for the offshore fishing, you guys gonna start like a Gale Force, tournament team or what? You guys did that a little bit. I think you guys joined one of the tournaments or something recently or something like that.
We've fished in a couple of tournaments.
Yeah.
The biggest one we fished in was the Jimmy Johnson.
Yeah.
That was a good one. Our team won Big Fish Bonanza. So basically
Okay.
it was the biggest meat fish, and she caught it. It was a 60-pound kingfish.
Nice. Dude, that's a big fish.
Yeah.
It was very large.
It was very large.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we've done a little bit of tournament fishing here and there, but we actually haven't really,
Committed to it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're obviously hosting a tournament, which is one
Right.
thing, but to actually compete in them is another thing. And I don't know why. It's just, we enjoy it. I think we could be very competitive, but
Yeah.
we haven't spent a lot of time doing it.
Okay. I gotcha. Maybe it'll be in the cards one day. Who
Yeah.
knows? We'll see you guys kicking ass out there. That'd be awesome. Well, guys, I really appreciate you coming in today. This was an absolutely awesome episode, and it was great talking to you guys. And can't wait to do this again sometime soon.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get something going. And,
Okay.
let's get on the water soon, all right?
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
Of course. Well, guys, you guys got to come check out this next episode, Gale Force Twins. It was absolute pleasure. You guys got to go check out their YouTube, check out their socials. Tight lines, everybody.
Thanks for joining us on CCO's The Science of Fishing. We hope that this episode was helpful and you learned something for the next time you're wetting a line. Before we cast off, a special thanks to our sponsors, Sea Mule and Black Reef Co. Stay hooked by following us on social media at Science of Fishing and hitting the subscribe button. And if you know someone who'd enjoy this, don't hesitate to share. Until we meet again, catch 'em up.